not on Ethernet. Yeah, I'm not on Ethernet. We're working on it, but I did a test run yesterday and people said that like the quality was good and the quality was fine. So let me tell you why I don't have my life together, because normally I come in here about 6:50, I set up my little screen, we're all good to go. So as many of you know, we just bought a house, we moved into the house. So much happens every day and everything is $1 million. Also, I want to adjust this. There we go. So welcome to our new setup. It'll be more interesting looking soon. But there were a lot of things that when we bought the house, we knew like, okay, we're gonna have to fix X, Y, and Z. We were like aware of that. And I was like, I'm sure other things will come up as well. Oh, they're coming up. They're coming up. Literally, we were just talking about, there was a guy here today, we need X, Y, and Z done. We don't know how much it's gonna be. Like, that's stressful enough. We were talking about that, and they were like, you know what? Let's relax, let's eat dinner, let's like enjoy our evening. I'm gonna go do my stream thing. So we're cleaning up from dinner and water starts literally gushing from under the sink. I shit you not, this happened 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, where's that coming from? Hopefully it's not that big of a deal because nothing exploded or anything like that. And water was not coming like out of the walls. Homeownership is great, but it's truly always something. Like I will say, a lot of it I'm loving, like getting to really make it my own, hang things on the walls and curtains and not worry about any of that stuff, and like buy furniture that's gonna be like permanent. But anyway, so we opened the bottom of the sink, and you know how like there's the drain on the sink? The pipe just popped off the drain, so I'm assuming we can just get a new pipe and a new like fastener, and hopefully it's not gonna be like a huge to-do. And like I'm pretty decent at stuff like that, but literally to have just had to talk about all this stuff that needs to get done and how expensive it's gonna be, and like finally coming to peace with that. And then the fucking just so much water was coming out. I was like, oh my God. So I like got towels and ran and dealt with it. And then it was like 6:59 and Mr. Redacted was like, go do your thing. Cause like I had cleaned up the water and I was like, are you sure? And he was like, I mean, what else is there to do? So he's looking into how to fix it. He said he's gonna try and fix it himself. And like I said, I'm pretty decent at stuff like that too. So we'll get it worked out. And like, and then I was gonna make a YouTube video this weekend about the home purchasing process. But now that this is happening, I'm like, I think I need to wait and then just include all of this in the video. So maybe I'll film like the intro part of it about like the pre-move-in, and then I'll do a post-move-in. Actually, I think that's a good idea. We'll do a pre-move-in video and a post-move-in video because it's literally just been so much. Like, I'm happy and I'm excited, but like, oh my God. And I never, like, I would always hear people say that, like, and I need to set up my background and all this shit, but I'm just like, want to vent. I would always hear people be like, oh, homeownership is so stressful. And I was always like, bitch, you got money. Like, what the fuck? But now that I'm in it, it's like, no, I don't. Like, who do y'all think I am? Because they'll look at you dead in your face and be like, oh, it's $10,000. What do you mean? What do you mean? No, so I actually decided I will never be MRS redacted. I am getting married, to clarify, but, and I was talking to my friends about this, and everyone's like caught off guard when I say that, but then when I explain why, I think it makes sense. So like, obviously I talk about my personal life, but I don't feel like my brand and why you guys watch me is because of my personal life. Like, it's not like I'm like a mommy influencer where like my family is my content. I just naturally talk about my family and my friends because I talk about me. So to me, to have like, to go to MRS redacted, it just felt like I was making like marriage the brand. And I was like, I'm not saying I never will, but I don't know. I was just like, I don't feel the need to do it right now. Cause like my content really isn't going to change, you know? And like people are like, oh my God, are you going to do like some influencers who like live stream their wedding and like do all this wedding content? Like I probably really won't do that just because I just feel like that's not what I like to talk about on the internet. Like, I'm sure I will talk about wedding planning, but it's not going to be like, here's my playlist and here's the wedding plan. Like, that's just not me. And we're also doing a relatively small wedding, so it's like going to be kind of anticlimactic. Are you changing your name in real life? That I have not decided, because the whole like thing about your documents and your voting, I was like, What do you mean? What do you mean? And I've never really had strong feelings about it either way. I think I'll probably do like a hyphen. I don't know. I really haven't decided. And that's the other thing. People, when you get engaged, people will put a lot of pressure on you to decide that like right away. Like, yes, I've always felt that a live stream wedding is like disingenuous because I feel like a wedding is like so personal, like, but whatever. But what was I about to say? Oh, so when you get engaged, people put a lot of pressure on you to be like, are you going to change your name? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? When like, you can do that at any time. You can literally do that at any time. And then what my coworker said that was actually really smart is he was like, if I were you, I would change your name to like a hyphen or like his last name legally. And then he was like, and professionally, you can still use your maiden name. Because he said one thing he hates as a man is that like if his name is anywhere, like a list at a restaurant or winner of a contest or like anything, kids see his name and know who he is and know where he works and all that. He just really values his privacy. So he was like, I would really wish, like if I was in your shoes, I would take advantage of using one name at work and one name in my personal life and having the personal life one be like your actual legal name. And I was like, that kind of makes sense too. So we're not getting married until next year. So I was like, I'm just gonna see what everyone else is doing. And yeah. My sister had to live stream her wedding because it happened the day COVID shutdowns happened and we all had to call and tell everyone not to come. Oh, that's probably so sad. The day shutdowns happened, like she got married on March 13th or 14th. That's a lot. Okay, so let's get my stream ready. Because none of it's, well, like the slides are ready, but my screen is not ready. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Normally I have like a little graphic background, but for some reason I can't find it. And I want to kind of get the good times rolling here. So we're just going to get the good times rolling. You're really seeing like the behind the magic. No? Boom, you're pink. I don't really love that lighting on me, but that's fine, I guess. And I had another ring light, but I don't know where the plug is. Clearly we're working on very high quality things this evening. That screen is way too big. But yeah, moving has been a time, and I keep getting lost on the way to work because this is the problem. The map keeps telling me to take the interstate, but it's literally not faster. And traffic builds up there really badly. So like, no. Because it literally wants me to get on the interstate for 1.5 miles. No. And it keeps saying it's faster. It's not. It's literally not. So then I put like the filter avoid highways on Google Maps, and then it was just taking me the weirdest fucking way ever that I was like, this has to be wrong. You're just trying to convince me to get on the interstate, because it had me like in neighborhoods making the craziest lefts, like going here, there, everywhere. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I just looked at the map and I looked at the streets and I was like, I think this way is gonna make the most sense. And then I took that way home from work today and it did. It did. Because the other way I kept getting stuck behind buses. So I was like, and like, I don't want to have to check the traffic. So yeah. Are you still thinking of getting a sociology master's, or is that just a temporary idea? So real of you to ask that. Oh, why can't I see myself? So real of you to ask that. Phenomenal question. I am still thinking of it. It was not a temporary idea. Oh my God, now I feel like our like screen size is weird. Whatever. Oh, how do you... Option, maybe? There we go. Nope. There we go. All right. That's going to have to be good enough. And that's what we're working with this week. This is really emblematic. So it is a temporary idea, but also it's not a temporary idea. So I think I do want to get another master's degree, because the one I am getting right now and I'll be done with in a couple weeks, was actually so stupid. And like, I knew it was going to be, and it served a very specific purpose, and it served that purpose. So like, it's fine, because I was not fully certified. I was in a certification program in Florida, but then when I left that school, they didn't submit my stuff to get my certification. So it never went through. So I literally just didn't get certified, even though I did the entire program. love my life. And like, everyone's like, you could have, it's in the past. It's in the past. And so then when I moved, I was like, okay, I need to do a certification program. I also don't give a fuck as much because the one I did in Florida was free. So I don't feel like I was like robbed, you know? Like I just was robbed of my time, but also it was in COVID. So like, what else was I doing? So anyway, then when I moved, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do a certification program. And I have like a grant left over from undergrad because for undergrad, I had like a tuition, like I didn't use the grant in my undergrad. So I was like, okay, the options were do a certification program that I was going to have to pay out of pocket for. It was through my district and the classes were in person in the evening. Or my state had like a list of approved master's programs, and one of them was an accelerated program, so it was a year online. So that's what I'm in right now because it's like a dual certification and master's, because I realized if I only get the certification, I don't necessarily have the ability to transfer that to another state. Reciprocity is really complicated and not all states have reciprocity with each other. But I realized if I get a master's, my master's is, I have a master, or I'm about to, graduation's in like a couple weeks. I'm not going because it's at 8 a.m. on a Wednesday, like 2.5 hours away. And like, it just doesn't really seem like a vibe, I'm going to be honest. But anyway, my master's is a Master's of Arts in, Master of Art in Teaching, secondary social studies, I think. So it's like a Master of Art in Teaching. In pretty much most districts, states, whatever, if you have a Masters of Arts in Teaching, you can get certified. Like, you're good. So I really just got it to serve that purpose. It's serving its purpose. Like, my certification is going to be pushed through. I'll be able to have reciprocity if I ever want to move in the future. Like, and I also just felt like that would just be a good thing for me. What it did not serve was me learning anything, which is fine. And then I also, just the more I've thought about it, like I love teaching high school, but I just like want to try other things. And I think there's two types of teachers. There's teachers that become teachers because they love their subject area, and then there's teachers that become teachers because they love schools and education. I don't think either one is better or worse than the other, but I'm definitely a subject area person, and like I have no desire to go into administration, to go into curriculum development. Like I have no desire to do any of that, but I do really have a desire to go into like history things, and I would love to teach history at a college level. I would also love to teach sociology at a college level. So I'm kind of flirting with the idea of getting a master's in sociology or in history, because then I would just, I feel like, have a lot more opportunity to like work in those fields, when right now I have an undergrad degree in interdisciplinary social science. Like, not exactly opening a lot of doors. And then also the master's I just got in teaching, like I was not a good student. Like I got decent grades, but I didn't network at all. I had no relationships. Everything was online. Anytime they offered a Zoom or an in-person thing, I did not go. So I also and again, like I found the content to be objectively bad. Like I was reading the stuff we were supposed to read sometimes. I usually didn't, but sometimes I did. And I was like, this is bad advice. Like, this is outdated. It's not communicated clearly. The writing is bad. Like, I genuinely do not feel it was an effective program to prepare people to be teachers. Almost all of the people in my program are first-year teachers, so I literally felt elderly in our group chat. People were like, oh my God. And I was like, it literally doesn't matter. So I didn't really feel a ton of sense of community there, just because I was like, I don't respect you. Like, okay, like it's hard for me to learn from a professor that I think is out of touch and doesn't know what they're talking about. So like I literally just don't care. But I love taking history classes. I love taking sociology classes, and there's so much more in that category that I want to learn. I don't want it to come across like, oh, I've learned what I need to be a teacher. But I've just seen that the traditional education of teachers is deeply ineffective, which makes sense. Our education system is broken. So I kind of feel like that's not a place that's developing me and growing me to be a better teacher. The thing that develops me and grows and me to be a better teacher is to watch other people teaching. When I watch other people teach, that makes me better because I get more ideas. Or when other teachers watch me teach and we talk about it, that makes me better. So have a desire to further my education because I want to further my career opportunities, but I literally just like cannot do another education program, and I'm not excited about learning any of that stuff, and I don't see what doors it would open that I want open. You know what I mean? And thank you. Reciprocity is being able to use your certification in other states. So whatever your certification is, whether you're a teacher, cosmetology, plumbing, whatever, some states will be like, yeah, if you're certified there, you can transfer it here. But then some states are like, no, we have higher requirements. And that's why I got the master's, or I'm almost done with the master's, because I was like, I just kind of want to be like good, because you never know what life holds. And like, this is a very cliche quote, but an education is one of the only things people can't take away from you. And like laws about certifications and things like that can change and things can be revoked from you. But having a master's degree just felt like, to me, a little more solid, which I liked. Not to brag, but I lucked out on that all of my master's profs were active in the field and involved in hands-on training. I see how you're sick of your experience being very much not like that. And like, I knew that going in. This program is not very highly rated, but it was 100% online and very affordable. Like, my grant covered more than the whole thing. So I still have some of that grant left over. So like, I simply just did what needed to be done. But anyway, now that you've heard all my woes, we've been here for 17 minutes. What the fuck are we actually here to talk about? The Mariana Trench. And this is fitting because I am in the trenches, like I just told you. Pipes are falling apart, air ducts need to be installed. The trenches, no curtains in here. So let's talk about this trench very far in the deep of the ocean. So this is the deepest oceanic trench on Earth. It is in the Western Pacific Ocean. It is 2,500 kilometers long. That's 1,500 miles. And it reaches a width of 43 miles in some areas. So big as fuck. It marks the boundary where the Pacific plate is being subducted beneath the Mariana plate. We're only going to get to like a 5th grade science level, and there's lots of pictures, don't worry. So it creates a V-shaped depression like that, because the two plates are coming together. So they're like, what the fuck is a kilometer? The sides of the trench are steep and rugged. They have landslides underwater. I simply think the ocean is none of our business. I am really big on, I don't go places where I can't survive. If there's no oxygen, that means I don't need to be there. I don't need to go to space because we're not supposed to be up there. I don't need to go to the bottom of the ocean because we're not supposed to be down there. I will swim underwater in the ocean. I'm a much braver swimmer in the ocean than a lot of people, but I will not do it if I need equipment because that means we're not supposed to be down there. So like, I'll swim and hold my breath and then swim back up because my body can handle that. So that means evolutionarily, that's fine for me to be doing. So like, we're just not supposed to be there. We're not supposed to. I kind of feel that way about airplanes, but not as strongly. So surrounding the trench are features like underwater volcanoes, casual, seamounts and hydrothermal vents, which adds to its dynamic geological character. Rocks. So the geology is very, very rare because of its extreme deep sea conditions. The walls and floors are mainly basaltic and ultramorphic rocks. I don't know what that means if anyone wants to chime in. And these rocks undergo high pressure because of the cold temperature and the seawater reactions. So they're very mineral rich and have microbes in them and things like that. Love the title. Rocks. So here's some horrifying pictures of it. We have a fair amount of evidence of various cameras that have been down there. So this is not the only picture of it. Obviously it's big as fuck, so that's only one part of it. I wanted to get into some graphics to really describe how fucking terrifying this is. So this is, the biggest thing right here is Mount Everest. And then right above Mount Everest is an airplane of like where a commercial airplane flies. The Mariana Trench is deeper than either of those things are tall. Like if you took Mount Everest and you flipped it over and put it inside the Mariana Trench, it would not reach the bottom. It would not reach the bottom. We are going to talk about who went down there because they shouldn't have. They're like I said, I just don't think we're supposed to be down there. 43 miles is 756.8 football fields. Immediately no. So this is just to give you the general ocean depth of, also I need to make my screen bigger, sorry. It's big for you all, but it's tiny for me. That's what she said. There we go. Can I actually... No, that's the best spot to have it. I'm going to move myself some, and I'm going to move y'all some so that we can make this screen bigger. Because I just feel like we really need to see everything. No. There we go. Okay. I feel like that's better. I love when we measure things in football fields. How did we even figure this shit out? The ocean is terrifying to me. Terrifying. We have no business. There we go. We have no business like commandeering the ocean like that. Why can't I do anything? I just feel like I'm so far. There we go. That's better. Jesus Christ. Can't have anything in this motherfucker. Let me get away from the window. God. It's growing pains, people. It's growing pains. So now I can see my ocean depth. Thank you. There's the continental shelf. That is the sunlight zone where like you look up and you can see the sun. Then it gets to the twilight zone. That's where the big ass whales go. So like that's where those big ass whales, like the big scary animals, that is where they're hanging out, about 3,300 feet. And then you have the bathypelagic zone, obviously, the midnight zone. You can't see the sun in this bitch. Like, sun's too far away. You got too much water in between you and the sun. Then you have the abscissipelagic zone. That's called the abyss. The abyss. That's where the Titanic is. Okay? Ugh. That's sad. Sorry, I just got a notification. Where was I? So the Titanic is at the ocean basin, which is about 6,000 feet. Deep as fuck. Deep as fuck. You would think, why would we go further than that? I don't know. Can't tell you. Then you have the Haddle Zone, known as the trenches. The trenches. The abyss isn't even the trenches. The fact that it gets worse than the abyss. That the abyss isn't the bottom. Not even close. Because the abyss is 19,700 feet, but the trenches goes down to 36,100 feet. Immediately no. Immediately no. Depth that James Canyon reached. Cameron, not canyon, but it's an underwater canyon, also known as a trench. And then you can see the height of Mount Everest wouldn't even get out of the trench. Like, it's not even fucking close. It's not even close. It's not even close. Here's another graphic so you can see. This also has a bunch of science terms that I don't understand, but yeah, basically it's deep as fuck and it's scary. Here's a better graphic. This is the graphic of the Mount Everest I wanted you to see. Let's just take a moment. Let's hold each other's hands and absorb. I don't like that. I do not like that. Mount Everest is so tall. No. There's a lot of graphics in here. Wow. See, it's scary. Do you see why I wanted to do this topic? Because I'm literally scared. Like, I know they say that the Mariana Trench can't hurt me, but it kind of feels like it can. But I'm safe because I'm not going to go down there. You know? The Cuvier's beaked whale. What's a beaked whale? Can we convince Elon to go down there? Phenomenal question. Want to call out that question. Phenomenal question. To be fair, trenches and mountains are made in the same way. Yeah, the plates fuck each other up. And sometimes they're the fucker, and sometimes they're getting fucked. So sometimes it's a trench, and sometimes it's a mountain. Do you see why I don't teach science? It's like watching those caving videos. I know I will never put myself in this situation, but I'm still scared. I went on a caving trip one time, and it was with church when I was like 13 with my Unitarian Universalist church. And I literally was like, I'm not going on this trip. I don't want to go caving. And it was in this like youth program I was in. And they're like, it's about team bonding. Like, you have to go. And my parents like forced me to go. And I literally said, I am just going to let you guys know, if I go in that cave and I don't like it, I'm turning around. Try and stop me. Like, literally try and stop me. If I decide I'm not going in the cave, I don't want to hear it from anybody. Like, I'm going on the trip. I'm being open-minded because they were like, basically saying, and we spent the night in the cave because there was like a big part where you could like stand up and walk around and it was big, and then there was like the caving part. And so we're in the walking around part, and I was like, okay, cool, because I'm a little bit claustrophobic, but it's not like debilitating. Like as long as I feel like a door can open and close, like I'm pretty good. And the entrance was like literally no door. It was just an open entrance, like inside of a building. So I was like, all right, I feel fine with this little camping moment. Like we're cool. And then they're like, okay, we're going to do the caving now. And then they showed the little tunnel, and I said, no, I'm actually not going. And they were like, you're going to have to sit by yourself for 4 hours while we go caving. Sounds phenomenal. And then another kid backed out, and his mom was a chaperone on the trip. So we literally just sat and were like playing card games and chilling while they did their caving thing. And I was like, and my parents were like, you really didn't go in it? For what reason? What did I have to gain? What did I have to gain from that? Absolutely nothing. So let's talk about the Challenger Deep. The Challenger Deep is the deepest known point of the seabed on the Earth, and it is located at the southern end of the Mariana Trench. Also, now you can see where it is on a map and kind of what it looks like. So it's near Guam, just like east of the Philippines. Fun fact, I hurled in a cave when I was 12. I think caves are very cool. I don't need to be crawling in them. I don't. Like, I literally don't need to do that. So, Challenger Deep video. Also, let me know how if there's any lags or I'm glitching or you can't hear me or anything is like weird. Let me know. No. What's the flag for? Be so fucking for real. What is that flag for? Your Wi-Fi is incredible? Okay, that's good. Sitting out from a field trip activity is so relatable, Queen. And it's something I've been passionate about for a long time. And as a teacher, I don't go on field trips. It's not for me. No. How do we have light on it? The deepest spot in the world's ocean. I'm not having a good time. It's just so much darkness out there. The Mariana Trench is in the Pacific and not the Atlantic like I thought this entire time. But I also, what are we doing? Oh, we're leaving? This is making my skin crawl. I also know the Pacific's a lot bigger than the Atlantic, so I guess that makes sense. Also, I'm sure you can hear that. It's the garage opening. If you start hearing noises, someone is here to fix some of the shit that's broken. Sorry. Shit needs to get fixed. So what, they just got some little like shrimp or whatever those were? What was that? Do we even know what that was? I thought that was my garage. Nope. That's one upgrade I'm really enjoying. Yeah, it's like a little shrimp. Why'd you vacuum seal him like that? How do they know if they haven't explored 80% of the ocean? I think because they have those things where it like maps it. Like even if they haven't explored it, they drive over it and it has like the sound pings to tell them how deep it is. So I think that's how they know. Why did they do that to that little shrimp? I feel like vacuum sealing him was not necessary. Like you could have put him in a little jar. He probably died from the light, maybe? Did they die on the way up? They probably died on the way up because they brought him up super fast. It probably needs pressure to not implode. Oh. Poor deep sea shrimp. He's probably so scared. So, statistics of the Challenger Deep. It is, like we said, over 36,000 feet deep. The pressure at the bottom is the equivalent of 50 jumbo jets stacked on a single human body. So think like a commercial airline jumbo jet where it has like 9 seats across. 50 of those on top of you. You didn't stand a chance. I want to hear about your experience with the garage. I love having a garage. I had a garage growing up, and then I lived in apartments, so I had a parking garage, but that's not really convenient because you can't leave stuff in there or just go directly inside your house. Our rental house did not have a garage, which I don't really care about because that was still more convenient than an apartment. But the new house does have a garage, which is lit. I think it'll be especially lit when it's cold outside and I don't have to heat up my car. But anyway, so at the bottom of the Challenger Deep, there is 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of you. Why is it called Challenger Deep? It's giving man versus nature. I feel like that's such a boy name. We're going to call it the Challenger Deep because it's a challenge. You simply don't need to go there. There's nothing there for you. Whatever you think is going to happen when you go there, whatever satisfaction you think you're going to feel, you're not. It's never going to happen for you. So how was it formed? Like we said, it was formed through subduction. So Earth's crust has plates that float on the molten lava, and then the edges bump into each other and collide. So like we said, it made this big ass trench. So this is like a picture of what that kind of looks like. So the old crust is getting shoved under the new crust, and that's what makes the Mariana Trench so big on these two plates. Like I said, we're going to be pretty basic on our science level here. You haven't lagged at all today. That's awesome because we switched Wi-Fi's. We used to have a different provider, and then here we found one that has like fiber, so we got it, but it's not testing well at all. So we were going to cancel it, but because this is working really well, I kind of don't think I should cancel it now because it is more expensive. There's like no delay in the chat either, and I'm not even on Ethernet, so all right, go off fiber. So here's a better picture. The Indo-Australian plate is kind of eating the Pacific plate. Womp womp. So pressure of the Challenger Deep, part of the reason it's unexplored is because of all of the water pressure. When you enter a body of water and begin diving down, the deeper you dive, the more water covers you. So that's gallons of water on top of you. That's why your ears pop and things like that. So, I literally just said that. Magnify that feeling by thousands, and you can imagine how incredible the water pressure would be with 7 miles of water overhead. Because when we were talking about how deep it is, that was from like the ocean floor. 7 miles of water. 7 miles of water above you. Is it getting deeper? Yes, I think so. So the Mariana Trench was first identified in 1875, we should have left it there, by the British HMS Challenger, which was pioneering an oceanographic expedition that used a weighted rope to take depth soundings. Bro, it was 1875. You should have been focused on women's rights. I'm sorry, I'll say it. You don't want to go there? I'll go there with you. One of these soundings recorded an exceptionally deep measurement in the Western Pacific, revealing the existence of a trench. The deepest part was named the Challenger Deep in honor of the expedition and was further confirmed and explored throughout the 20th century using more advanced technology. In the 1950s, echo sounding provided a more accurate depth measurement, confirming the trench's extreme depth, and these discoveries marked the beginning of deep ocean exploration and sparked decades of scientific interest in mysteries hidden beneath the ocean floor. Literally terrifying. So let's talk about the people that went down there and why they would do this. So the Tristi mission. This was a Swiss-designed but Italian-built deep diving research babyscape. And actually Mr. Redacted was watching a YouTube video about this a while back, and that's why I decided to do this stream, because I was like, why were these people in the 1960s going down there? That seems really, really strange. It's so dark, I feel like you couldn't even see your own hand down there. It's below the midnight level. There's the midnight level, and then the abyss, and then this. I don't even think you could have thoughts down there. So, where was I? In 1960, they became the first crewed vessel to reach the bottom of the Challenger Deep. Why would you go down there? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? 'Cause remember, it was 36,000 feet. They got to 35,814. No. Racing to the moon and the ocean floor in the same decade. Isn't it true that we've explored more of the moon than the ocean floor? I hope that's true, because I've been telling that to people. You have to have mega strong flashlights down there. But like, how does the light bulb not explode? You have 7 miles of water above you. Oh, God. The mission was the final goal for Project Necton, a series of dives conducted by the U.S. Navy. So why was it a town? Whatever. The vessel was piloted by Swiss oceanographer Jacques Picard and the U.S. Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh, and they reached a depth of, like I said, 35,814 feet. I'm like really upset about it. I love how you're actually tripping. No, I'm scared. And that's why I picked this topic, because this is genuinely terrifying to me. Like, this genuinely scares me. Imagine the fish seeing their first humans. I can't. We don't need to be down there. Like, I cannot reiterate how much we don't need to be down there. We literally just don't. So this was a deep sea submersible designed to explore the ocean's greatest depths. It functions like a small self-propelled submarine, but it's built to withstand enormous pressure. It was, like we said, the first manned descent to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It has two main parts: a floater filled with lightweight, buoyant, liquid-like gasoline, which is incompressible and helps it float. Okay. And a heavy spherical pressure chamber made of thick metal where the crew sits. The pressure sphere is designed to resist crushing forces at extreme depths. Unlike traditional submarines, they are not connected to surface vessels by cables and can operate independently, making them ideal for exploring the deep ocean. I did not know that submarines are usually attached by cables to the ship. I guess that would make sense, but I just never thought about it. To be honest, the thing that kills people more often is the change in gases, nitrogen, oxygen, etc. Your body going down low and coming up too quickly. The pressure is kind of secondary. So in my family, a lot of people are really into scuba diving. My grandpa especially was a very avid scuba dive person. Like, they lived in Hawaii for a while, and he would go on scuba diving trips. Like, that was just kind of his thing. And when he really wanted me to learn how to scuba dive, because he lived at a lake, and so he would teach people to scuba dive in the lake just to get them used to it. And he told me we were gonna try it, and he was like, you have to come up slow and you have to listen to me. If you panic and you come up too fast, it will make you sick. You have to come up slow. So he was like, if you panic, just take a deep breath, stay calm. You have to come up slow. And I was like, I don't need to do this. Because I always need to have an exit strategy. One thing about me, if I'm not having a good time, I will leave. I will leave at any moment. I will literally be gone. My friends hate it, because sometimes when we go out to bars and I'll be drunk, something really small will happen. One person will say something, not like a friend, but a random asshole will say something I don't like, or it'll be too crowded, or just something happens that I just flip a switch and I'm like, yeah, goodbye. And I'll just disappear. And everyone's like, what happened to you? And I'm like, oh, I was done. And that's why I drive separately most places. But if I'm out and drinking, I will not hesitate to call an Uber. And when I was in college, my friends would get mad because they'd be like, you paid for your own Uber? We could have split it together. And I'm like, I was ready to go. And I looked at you and I could tell you weren't. So I'm just don't tell me to stay calm. It makes me freak out worse. No, literally. So this is what they went down there in. I know that that's not duct tape, but it just really looks like duct tape. Oh, let me move my little notification thingy now that we have our news set up, my alert box. Let's give you all the attention you deserve. There we go. And while we're staring at this thing, let's go through who's subscribed. Thank you, Kevin Green, for subscribing on YouTube. BS Paul 23, thank you for following. Porcupine Bitch, thank you for resubscribing for 10 months. Stardust Mosaic, resubscribing for 21 months. Yark Clan CPS, following. Mr. Human Fishy, you're in the right place. Followed, thank you. Okay, and then those are all and then Yellow of the Egg Designs followed, thank you. And then all the other ones were from previous weeks. But yeah, let's just get in this little duct tape tube and get on down there. Camouflage from what? Didn't they tell everyone they were going? I wonder how the Russians felt about this, because it's 1960, so it's the Cold War. Were they trying to get down there? So Project Necton was the code name for a series of very shallow test dives, and also a deep submergence operation in the Pacific that ended with, like we said, this Tristy mission to the Challenger Deep. Aside from the prestige of being the first to make the deepest dive, the Navy Electronics Lab held the following objectives for the project. They said they wanted precise determination of sound velocity through water column being explored, determination of the water column's temperature and salinity structure. Salinity is like how much salt is in there, right? You don't really need to worry about camouflage. Most marine life doesn't care about you, and once you're down far enough, it's too dark for the animals to have much vision. Yeah, that's what I thought. I think they had to ban nuke testing in the ocean in the mid-1960s because they were down there where they shouldn't have been. Not that we should nuke the ocean either, but water currents, light penetration, they had a bunch of science shit they were doing. They were like, it's science. We got to go down there for science. So they departed San Diego on October 5th, 1959 for Guam aboard the freighter Santa Maria with a series of deep dives. So January 23rd, 1960, right before the record dive. So they left in October, got there in January. Well, maybe they got there earlier. It just took some time to prepare. But anyway, from October to January, they were prepping and moving. And then now this is time to dive. It's time for them to go down there. I literally don't want them to go. So on January 23rd, 1960, they reached the ocean floor. How long did it take them to get down there? I feel like that's wrong. Like, I feel like, wouldn't it take them a while? How long did the Tristy mission take? It says that the descent took 5 hours and the ascent took 3 hours and 17 minutes. I feel like it should take multiple days. I guess it's 7 miles, but it says they were down for a total of 9 hours. I feel like it should be longer. Anyway, the onboard systems said that they were 37,800 feet underwater, but they revised it later and they found that it was actually 36,000. So scientists are disagreeing. You can go down pretty fast. It's coming back up that takes so long, but they did it faster coming back up. Here's them in the thing. Absolutely terrifying. Like, I don't know how much they were being paid. I don't know what inspired them to do this. You could not pay me all the money in the world to do this. So let's watch this documentary that's 1 minute long.
Released by the U.S. Navy come these first films of the bathyscaphe Trieste, rolling in heavy seas after the deepest dive ever made by man. Jacques Picard and Lieutenant Walsh went down 7 miles into the Mariana Trench, greatest known depth in the world. During their 20 minutes on the seabed, they saw fish, despite pressure of 8 tons to the square inch.
No.
Another strange craft was tested in the icy waters of Lake Erie. It's an escape capsule for ocean-crossing bombers. With a man inside it, it has just ended a 3-day trial. As well as supplies, it has rescue signal apparatus. Gently does it because Airman Bruce Barwise has had 72 hours cooped up in there. You wouldn't think there was room for a man to spend that long inside without getting cramped. Well,
Stop.
Appearances are deceptive.
Okay, sorry. I need to watch this again. I was not paying enough attention to that and then suddenly heard that he was in there for 72 hours. I wonder what happened to men that talk like this. Crazy that they did better than literal billionaires in 2024. I would do this if it meant I didn't have to take organic chemistry. Real. They're in the trench.
Released by the U.S. Navy come these first films of the bathyscaphe Trieste, rolling in heavy seas after the deepest dive ever made by man.
They're just
Jacques Picard
outside.
And Lieutenant Walsh went down 7 miles into the Marianas Trench, greatest known depth
So
in the world.
I always thought it was Marianas, but everything I found online said Mariana, but they're saying Marianas, so I have no idea. The fact that he's not wearing full-length pants is bugging me. Is he not cold?
During their 20 minutes on the seabed, they saw fish, despite pressure of 8 tons to the square inch.
They saw fish.
Another strange craft was tested in the icy waters of Lake Erie. It's an
Oh,
escape capsule
this is
for
in
ocean-crossing
Lake
bombers.
Erie.
With a man inside it, it has just ended a 3-day trial. As well as supplies, it has rescue signal apparatus. Gently does it because Airman Bruce Barwise has had 72 hours cooped up in there. You wouldn't think there was room for a man to spend that long inside without getting cramped.
They literally used to be doing anything. They used to literally be doing anything.
Appearances are deceptive. Barwise was little the worse for it after the longest 3 days of his life. He just wanted a bath and a warm meal. 6 pounds lighter, otherwise okay.
6 pounds lighter? He didn't eat the whole... They couldn't even give him a granola bar or something? No, absolutely not. So, as the Triste descended, a prototype Rolex watch was attached to the exterior to test durability under extreme pressure. This is in the 1960s. We still had segregation, and this is what the Navy was doing. I'm sorry, I don't want the Navy doing Rolex testing. Call me crazy. Call me whatever you want to say. So at a depth of 10,916 meters, nearly 1,000 times sea level pressure, the Rolex Special emerged fully functional. This demonstrated the watch's remarkable pressure resistance and cemented Rolex's reputation. Like, why is the Navy doing Rolex marketing? I don't like that, and I don't appreciate it. Rolex had collaborated with Auguste Piccard, the designer, to develop the watch, which had already withstood several deep sea tests. So it wasn't even the traditional Rolex. It wasn't even a regular Rolex. That pissed me off so fucking bad. I was mad enough thinking it was the regular Rolex. So not only are you having the Navy doing marketing, they're lying. It's false marketing. Not even good marketing. Immediately no. And why do I need my Rolex to handle that pressure? Who the fuck's going down there? Who's going down there? After the dive, they sent a telegram to Rolex confirming that the watch worked perfectly. The success highlighted Rolex engineering and supported the deep sea exploration in a once mysterious realm. This is so infuriating. So the descent took 4 hours and 47 minutes. One of the outer plexiglass window panes cracked, shaking the entire vessel. And that didn't make them come back up. And that was at 30,000 feet. They said, let's still keep going down to the bottom. So that means this is the part that I saw in the documentary that Mr. Redacted was watching that I said, yeah, I need to look into this. That means the guy who was like in there was talking about it in this documentary. I think the clip might be in here later. That there was like 2 panes of glass. One of them broke, it cracked, which meant that the only thing between them and all of this fucking pressure and ocean was one singular sheet of glass. One singular sheet. No. The cabin temperature was 45 degrees at the time. They spent 20 minutes on the ocean floor. There were 2 of them there. And while at maximum depth, they unexpectedly regained the ability to communicate with the support ship using a sonar hydrophone voice communication system, about 5 times the speed of sound in air. And it took 7 seconds for a voice message to travel from the craft to the support ship, and another 7 seconds for the answers to return. I feel like it probably started working again because I feel like when they were descending, they were moving relatively quickly. And then when they got to the bottom, they probably weren't moving that fast. So maybe that's why it could travel, because like they were more stationary. I don't really know anything about that, but that's just logical to me. They didn't test the glass or something. They did, but like this is the deepest one. So they couldn't test it at 30,000 feet without doing the real thing. So what the fuck did they see while they were down there? While at the bottom, they reported observing a number of sole and flounder fish, which are both flatfish that like lay on the bottom. The accuracy of this observation has later been questioned, and recent authorities do not recognize it as valid. Okay, false information T. The theoretical maximum depth for this fish is about 26 to 28,000 feet, beyond which they would become hypersomatic. What's hypersomatic mean? I'll Google it. Hyperosmotic. Oh. This refers to a solution or fluid that has a higher solute concentrate compared to another. I don't think I know what that means. Oh. Okay. I learned. I figured it out. I'll show you. This is what it means. So the one on the right is the hypersomatic. That means their cells are shrinking. So I get it. If they're not deep enough, their cells swell up. If they're at the right spot, they're good. And if they're too deep, their cells get smaller from the pressure. Okay. Science fucking rules. Maybe the fish were on vacation. Like, maybe everyone's lying. Had you thought of that? So they just didn't know what the fish looked like. Yeah, pretty much. They probably just assumed it was flatfish. So invertebrates such as sea cucumbers, some of which could potentially be mistaken for flatfish, have been confirmed at 33,000 feet or more. So they probably just didn't know they're fish. Why would you send two guys down there to research the fish who don't know fish? You think you'd send someone that knew their fish a little bit better. Walsh later said that their original observation could be mistaken as their knowledge of biology was limited. Why were they down there? Did they draw the short straw? Like, why are they down there? They noted that the floor of the Challenger Deep consisted of a diatomacous ooze. What is that? Another Google that we need to do. This is how I teach my class. I just read things, and if I don't know them, I just Google them. That's like kind of a dramatization, but not really. I can't type. Diatomacus. A type of powder made from sediment of fossilized algae. Okay. Period. Oh, I have this. It is apparently this stuff. I literally used this the other day. This stuff to bugs, it's like walking on glass. So if you put it around, the bugs like don't like it and they won't go there. Because we had a couple ants and I put this down and they were like, hit the bricks, let's get the fuck out of here. And it's worked for me at multiple places, and it's like safe for humans and stuff. Cool. But yeah, they had ooze. That's the powder. I guess the ooze is from algae because it's different. And then the ascent going back up took 3 hours and 15 minutes with their busted ass window. So this is him recounting the dive.
I think the importance is that a small group of Navy people had the vision to see that exploring all corners of the world ocean, if you will, was pretty important for naval operations and perhaps enhancing the submarine force. And we were all submarine types, the military side, and this was an extension of submarine operations, if you will. This is not really a submarine, of course, but the closest job description you could get in the Navy was, for a bathyscaphe pilot or submersible pilot, was submarine qualification. There were only two of these things in the world at the time. So if you look back, again, aviation history. Is
that the old one?
It's like when Glenn Curtiss and the Wright brothers there were two airplanes in the world, and you take turns flying them. It was just the very beginning. So everything on this had to be designed by us and made by us, because there were any commercial vendors, no catalog that sold parts that were qualified for 16,000 PSI, 8 tons per square inch pressure, and to do the things you want to do. Cameras, lights, samplers, sensors, instrument sensors, all of that we had to design and build or have built. And so we were writing a book for deep ocean operations.
He's kind of boring.
Because the trenches in the world ocean only are 2% of the total areas.
Like, I don't want to hear about your resume. I want to hear about you being in that bitch.
Seafloor. If you can dive to 20,000 feet, you can see 98% of the seafloor. We're going to 36,000 feet in this thing. So it was really mare incognita, the unknown sea down there. And but what's the knock-on effect? Well, when I go to trade shows today, 60 years later, and I look at these vehicles, of course, those days we didn't have unmanned, like the underwater drones, or tethered ones like the remotely operated vehicles. And manned vehicle was the only thing we had. Why? Because it was easier to put a person in something like this to do the job than we could use robotics at the time. You know, vacuum tubes and not very good batteries, or batteries that took up so much space, there's no room for the people. And so it's all very primitive. And the most reliable stuff in this thing was two humans, because the human brain is a pretty good computer. So that today you've got lots of choices. In fact, I'd maintain that the heavy lifting for deep ocean exploration
not the most exciting thing I've seen.
Will be unmanned systems, because robotics and the advent of AI.
Men will risk their lives to travel to every corner of the planet to just retell the story poorly. He'd win 2 truths and a lie, but I'd fall asleep while he was telling his truths and a lie. I found a different video. Let's see if it's good. And also, we're not going to watch it on principle alone, but I found a video that was 20 minutes that looks very high quality, but it's on the Rolex channel, so I feel like it's just going to be an ad for Rolex, but they probably have like the best footage because they probably gave them a gazillion fucking dollars. Voice of America. Oh my God.
Donald Walsh steps back into history at the U.S. Naval Museum in Washington. That's where the Trieste is on permanent display.
Our job was to maintain and operate the bathyscaphe. The scientists at the Navy lab would decide what kind of research projects we have and what kind of equipment we put on it to make measurements and sampling under the sea.
50 years ago, Walsh, then a young Navy lieutenant, would co-pilot the Trieste on its record-setting dive to a depth of 11,500 meters, or deeper than Mount Everest is high.
What better demonstration of safety of this platform than to go to the deepest place in the ocean and come back?
Okay, we can watch the Rolex one.
And working order.
Pull my arm.
The Trieste is a free-diving, self-propelled submersible. Walsh explains that the deck, rails, and conning tower of its gasoline-filled flotation chamber make it look a bit like a submarine.
Basically, it is an underwater balloon. You've got 2 parts to it. You've got the balloon here, which is this long cylindrical object, and that's filled with a lighter-than-water substance, which is aviation gasoline. Oil floats on water. So you get buoyancy or lift. And then beneath the balloon, like a balloon up in the air, you have a cabin for the fragile humans.
There's just enough room for 2 people. On Trieste Historic Dive, the co-pilots would be Walsh and Swiss scientist Jacques Piccard, whose father, Auguste Piccard, had designed the craft. On January 23, 1960, the Trieste began its mission in rough seas. Things went smoothly until 9.5 kilometers down, when Walsh says they heard a muted bang.
It got our attention, but we didn't know at the time what it was. We just knew they were still alive and everything was functioning well. All our instruments, indicators said that the dive was progressing just fine.
That bang, it turned out, was a crack in the plexiglass viewing window. Luckily, it didn't leak, and the Trieste arrived intact at the deepest point in the Pacific Ocean's Mariana Trench. Before the sediment completely disturbed their view, they saw a bottom-dwelling flatfish.
And it was a very high-order marine vertebrate, so
I wonder if they were gay.
The craft ascended safely.
Fellas, is it gay to go to the deepest part of the ocean with your best friend for 9 hours?
Completing the round-trip mission in just over 8 hours.
If you show us the video, then it's giving them one view versus all of us watching ourselves. So really, you're screwing over Rolex.
Not because we were pioneers.
You're right.
Inventors. It was literally, necessity is the mother of invention. We needed something. We had to invent it.
You didn't need this. We never needed this.
Underwater lights, cameras, motors, and electrical systems. No human has returned to that deepest part of the ocean, although a remotely operated Japanese vessel did reach the site in 1995. And in 2009, an unmanned submersible named Nereus, a project of the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, made the same journey. Walsh applauds the
They were at the bottom of the ocean longer than Katy Perry was in space. That space thing kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you.
A handful of vessels, manned or robotic, exist to do the job.
Okay, we'll watch the Rolex one. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it's literally 20 minutes. 22. And no closed captions available.
Just imagine 2 guys going 7 miles down into the deepest end of the deepest ocean.
Just boggles your mind to think of someone going down there.
So far, this video's not giving what I wanted it to give.
A dive to the deepest known place on Earth. Challenger Deep in the Pacific's Mariana Trench More than 11 kilometers beneath the sea. No air, no light. Two men would set out to explore
See,
the
they have
ocean's
that good
most
footage.
hostile extremity. 28-year-old U.S. Naval Lieutenant Don Walsh, a qualified submarine officer, and 37-year-old Swiss engineer Jacques Picard. Together they would pilot a one-of-a-kind bathyscaphe, the Trieste. A creation of Jacques' father and collaborator.
What kind of
physicist
playlist would you
Auguste
make for that
Picard,
journey?
best
Would
known
you
for
put
his
Adele's
high-altitude
Rolling in the
study
Deep
of
on it?
cosmic rays. Through the 1920s and 30s,
Do they really have to
pressurized
point out there's no
capsules set
air?
records, surpassing an altitude of 21,000 meters.
Auguste Picard was unbelievable.
Okay, so I think I get it. We're gonna move on from them.
I think the
So that was that first mission. Like we said, not really sure what the point of that was. Not really sure why we had to go down there. And then in 2009, there was a Mariana Trench National Monument created by George W. Bush. I guess this is something he wanted to do on his way out. This is his version of the Midnight Justices. Have to say, doesn't seem like the best use of resources, but I guess no one got hurt. So I'm going to call this neutral. Permits for research in the monument included the Mariana Deep, which had been secured from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and permits for research in the Challenger Deep were secured from the Federated States of Micronesia. Real ones laughed at that U.S. history joke. Thank you. So there was a 2012 mission to the Challenger Deep that was led by filmmaker James Cameron. Didn't he make Titanic? Is that who that is? I'm like 90% sure, but I'm going to be embarrassed if I'm wrong. James Cameron. Yes, he made Titanic and Avatar, The Terminator. Yeah. This is like a side quest for him. I love that. I love when rich people have like a side quest that is like scientific. Like, cool, man. And it seems like he does it a little safer than our other friends that we know about. I think I might do a stream on that. I think it's been long enough. Where was I? Cameron piloted a specially designed submersible to the deepest point of the Earth, reaching a depth of 35,787 feet. Unlike previous manned descents, Cameron's mission was notable for being a solo dive, marking the first time a single person had made the descent to the Challenger Deep and returned safely. So was there a mission down there in 2009, or they just made the monument? I want to Google more about this monument. 2009 Mariana Trench. This is why I like having not that many slides, because we can go on these little side quests. Monument. Oh, they made it like a protected zone. That's the monument. Oh, I thought they literally like put something like a statue on some island or something. I was really confused. Okay, so the whole thing is the monument. What? So that is maybe a W of the Bush administration. I thought they literally like put a monument in Guam or something. I was like, why was that necessary? That makes more sense. Were there any other missions other than these two? Missions to Challenger Deep. I hate that it's called that. Yeah, the only ones I can find are the 1961 and the 2012 one. I hate how Google gives you all this AI. And then there's been a lot more recent ones, but up at this point, these were the only ones. So this was the first time a single person went down there. I think that is good. I think that if you're going to go down there, you should have to go alone. So the submersible had a pilot sphere big enough for just one person. It was made of steel, meant to withstand the pressure. Sorry, I can't read. It was tested to withstand 114 megapascals of pressure at Pennsylvania State University. I read that as it's meant to withstand the pressure of Pennsylvania State University. Like, you can put Penn State on top of it and it'll be okay. I don't know why that's how I interpreted that. Positioned at the base of an 11.8 ton vehicle, the sub operates vertically, so I guess this one does use cables. If that system fails, a backup Gavalanche releases corrodes into salt water over time to ensure resurfacing. It weighs less than 1/10 of the Tristy and carries far more scientific equipment with faster dive capabilities. So this is him on his deep sea dive.
In this story, James Cameron isn't the only character
Natural
taking
selection.
the voyage to the Mariana Trench's deepest point, Challenger Deep.
Do you want to see how we're going to do it?
Yes, let's
Wanna
do
see
it.
the vehicle?
Yeah. This,
No.
in Cameron's eyes, is the other. His submersible, Deep Sea Challenger. It took a team of scientists
Human
and the
occupied.
National Geographic Society more than 7 years to make a sub able to withstand pressures at the trench's depths, 16,000 pounds per square inch.
No.
So it does stay vertical.
Flies like a seahorse.
Flies like a seahorse.
Yeah, you know how it just stays upright in the water column? We got a little fin on the back?
Want to tell you a little bit more about Deep Sea
I like his
Challenger
vibe.
as it's docked and resting and being worked on here. It weighs 12 tons, and even though it's on its side, it's actually 24 feet high. It's powered by these specially created lithium batteries, and its body is made up of a syntactic foam that was developed by Cameron and his team of scientists. And that color that you see there, Cameron calls that Kawasaki green.
I'm pretty used to clambering around this thing.
It's a one-seater designed to have Cameron encased in a protective
Barefoot,
pod.
dogs out and
How
all.
tall are you?
6'2".
That's what I mean. I love when rich people seem normal. Like, you can tell he's genuinely passionate about this. Like, the movies were just to do this. Like, he was like, what's the fastest way that I can have millions and millions of dollars? Make the Titanic movie, and then I will be able to go down there.
It would have been easier if it had been built for me. It is a tight fit.
I'm pretty much like this for about 10 hours.
You're not worried about cramps or anything.
He has the energy of someone's dad doing a project in their
Cameron
garage.
expects
It
time
really,
will pass
that
as
is
he
it.
captures 3D images and hopefully sea life from the trench's floor, as he has already done on previous test dives.
And I can actually slurp up little critters, or I can suck onto an animal and pick him up and drop him into a bio box.
If something goes wrong, there is a fail-safe system, a series of weights released with the flip of a switch. It brings little comfort to Cameron's mother, who worries.
I love my family, my kids. There's nothing I love more. But I also have to do this. I also have to go look. It's like...
I love my kids, but I have to go to the bottom of the ocean. I just simply have to. I have to go to the deepest point in the ocean. Slurp up little critters is a crazy choice of words. Like, that's, we literally don't have to. You don't have to. You don't free yourself because you don't have to go down there. You really just do not.
Like Jimmy Stewart says in How the West Was Won, sometimes you just got to go see the critter.
The Challenger's frontier
gotta.
awaits. Jason Carroll, CNN, on board the Mermaid Sapphire in the Solomon Sea.
He's so passionate about it. So he planned to spend about 6 hours near the ocean floor, but after 2 hours and 34 minutes, he decided to come on back up. Yeah, that sounds about right. The time at the bottom was shortened because of a hydraulic fluid leak? No, thank you. It also caused the loss of the submersible's starboard thrusters. A thruster is what makes you go. Makes you be like, go. So they resurfaced it in a 90-minute ascent. That feels pretty fast for all that pressure. And I feel like, so this is the second mission down there. Something broke on the first one. That should have been our sign. And then something broke on the second one. Like I said, I don't think we have any business being down there. So during the mission, he filmed more than 3 hours of high-def footage of the ocean floor, including invaluable footage of the abyssal depths of the trench. The images captured new insights into the environment, including previously unknown species of marine life and remarkable geologic formations. Cameron's expedition was also intended to help scientists learn more about the Challenger Deep's ecosystem, which was thought to be devoid of life. We're so stupid. Can I just say, humans are so fucking self-centered that we think if we couldn't live down there and the animals that we know couldn't live down there, we're like, well, nothing could live there. We know many animals and none of them could live there because we don't live there. So how the fuck would we have met the animals that live there? Just because you can't survive doesn't mean there's not life. And then I was talking about this the other night because on the news they were talking about how they found a planet that they think would be suitable for life. And they're like, if it's not the right temperature, it's not suitable for life. Suitable for life as we know it and understand it. suitable for life as we have observed and have scientific evidence of. We don't know what we don't know. So to make definitive ass statements like that, I just find it to be irritating. So anyway, they thought there was no life down there. Idiots. I knew there was life down there the whole fucking time. Because of the extreme pressure, cold temperatures, and lack of light. However, his observations contradicted this belief, showing that life does exist in these extreme conditions, including strange creatures like amphipods and other deep-sea organisms. This mission helped lay the foundation for future ocean deep dive research by demonstrating that solo dives were possible and highlighted the potential for more technological advancements in ocean exploration. So, I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh, it's him again. At least we know he lives. It's like the Instant Pot. That's cramped. This is a good quality video. A stream on the Titan, but it's on my list now. I think we've waited long enough. % of ocean life lives at 660 feet. That's where a nuclear submarine can go. Deepest recorded scuba dive at 1,000 feet. No business being down there. 3,300 feet, last trickle of sunlight. 8,200, the deepest diving whale. 12,400, that's where the Titanic is. Not right there, but in the other spot, in the Atlantic. The snailfish, the deepest living fish ever filmed. You can't even go on your phone on the trip. I'd be so bored. Mount Everest inverted. And then welcome to the Challenger Deep, where we simply don't need to be. That was a valuable graphic, even though it made me deeply uncomfortable. All right, Jimmy Fallon trigger warning. Yeah, I'm kind of done with that. So this is where he's talking about it. He said, I've been to another planet. I feel like it is like another planet. Everybody thinks that's strange, buddy. We can't afford gas.
Challenger Deep, which is only a small part of the Mariana Trench, is something like 50 times the size of the Grand Canyon. So, you know, this is a vast...
His doc on this made me cry. Oh, it's free on YouTube? What's it called? I want to watch that.
The whole sub actually squeezes down almost 3 inches in length when it gets to the bottom of the ocean, just because of the pressure. The sphere that I'm in actually shrinks. The window that I look out actually pushes in toward me.
Absolutely not. Look how cramped he is. He's like...
inch of pressure. It was a very lunar, very desolate place, very isolated. My feeling was one of complete isolation from all of humanity. I mean,
you're literally the most isolated person in the world at that moment.
Another planet and come back. Any of the animals that live there are adapted to this extreme pressure, this total darkness.
Very desolate, yes, on purpose.
White, they have no pigment. Some of them have eyes to see bioluminescence. Some of them have no eyes at all. It's a completely alien world.
We're going to look at the animals next. So, let's talk about animal life. It's so cute. Didn't one of these come to the surface recently? And aren't they like this big? I always thought they were like this big, but apparently they're this big. It has this little headlamp on it so that it can see, I guess. I think that is so fun. Deep sea dragonfish looks like another light. So that's what he was saying, like the bioluminescence, that is an animal that provides its own light. So that's these guys. Before we judge, let's remember they do not have mirrors down there, nor braces. You're not gonna look at me and tell me this guy is not a frickin' cutie. Dumbo Octopus? That's the perfect name for him. Look at him. How did they get these pictures of my ex? Also, who's their veneer tag? This is a snailfish. Okay. Okay. Did they give him food or something? Is that some kind of animal they trapped to try and lure these fish? Very interesting. This is not at the Challenger Deep. This is another part of the Mariana's Trench. That's literally an axolot, is it? So this is at the 7,000 meters. So this is not like a crazy ass spot, but that's some of the fish hanging out in there. This next jellyfish, not officially named by scientists, is one of the species that lives within the depths of the Mariana Trench. It was discovered in 2016 as a part of a NOAA, I think that's National Oceanic something Association, expedition to the Enigma Seamount. It is a translucent jellyfish that features 2 sets of tentacles, both short and long, and was found at a depth of over 12,000 feet. It's a real, not CGI jelly. Now I feel like it is. Ah! It looks like a spider. And it does look like CGI. Oh, I see the 2 sets of tentacles. The long ones, then it has little short ones. I think the long ones are for grabbing and the short ones are for swimming, it kind of looks like. Can you believe we're all made of cells and so are they, and we all live on Earth together? It makes me emotional to talk about. It really does. This feels like a hate crime. Supergiant amphipod. These shrimp-like crustaceans were discovered to live in the Mariana Trench during a 2019 expedition. So there was the 1961, the 2012 one, and then apparently between 2019 and now, there's been a number of expeditions. Scientists were eager to understand how these creatures could withstand the extreme pressures, and they eventually discovered that they not only use calcium, but aluminum to strengthen their exoskeletons. This makes them the first known species to use aluminum for such a purpose. It is thought that the supergiant amphipod can ingest aluminum through sediments on the seafloor, utilizing it in a different form to coat its exterior. That is so interesting. Look at them. And they're also white. They don't have any tan because they're down there with no light. I do that too. So this is another, it's like a fish attached to a bar of rebarb, I guess, to attract animals for us to vlog them. They're kind of creepy looking, no? Whoa. Whoa. Ah! Who is that? Who the fuck is that? Is that an eel? What is that? I don't think that's an eel because it has fins. What is that? Is he gonna eat them? No! 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 You defend yourself! Defend yourself! Yeah, get out of there. We almost witnessed a murder. We almost witnessed a murder. That was terrifying. I don't like it down here. So, giant single-celled organisms. Do not like the sound of that. They found single-celled organisms that were the same size as a mango. They measured 4 inches long, and these organisms were discovered at a depth of 6.6 miles using drop cams. They were known as xenophyophores. These sponge-like gigantic cells are well adapted to the harsh environment of the trench, but are very fragile and thus difficult to study. That is literally terrifying. Why is it that big, but it's one singular cell? I can't. Okay, drop the camera. This is the Serena Deep. So there's different spots in the Mariana. Like we said, it's long as fuck. This is such a cute little girl's name, Xenophyophores. That's it? That's all you got? And now it's all dusty because y'all dropped a camera down there. Oh, there he is. Oh, and there's the other ones. Interesting. So I guess if you touch them, they just break. That's why we can't research them. Less scary as the other one, but still kind of jarring. This is a sea cucumber. I didn't get to read it. They went too fast. Violet sea cucumber swims above the sea floor near Mariana Trench. It's kind of pretty. I like that purple. Oh, it's like kind of majestic. I like it. It reminds me of a lava lamp or a butterfly. It's kind of beautiful. Aww. I could like actually watch that for hours. That one's by far the cutest one. Let's watch it again. I want to reward positive behavior. And like, yes, mama, yes. It's so pretty. How did they get this clear ass footage of it? Why did Animal Planet have me thinking sea cucumbers are gross? I think they look gross when they're not in the water. I think that's where they get gross. Pretty. So, moving on from the very cute / terrifying animals. Oh, perfect. My shirt's see-through and you can see my bra. Awesome. Let's get to environmental concerns because climate change is happening. I made the funniest joke today, can I just say? So you know on Nearpod, where it lets you pick your little characters, we were doing the beach one and a bunch of the kids picked penguins. And all the kids always try and convince each other to pick a certain thing. They're like, let's all be bears, let's all be turtles. And none of them listen to each other. So it never happens. But one of them was like saying they wanted to be bears today. They were like, we should be bears. Everyone pick bears. And then a couple kids picked penguin. And they go, there can't be penguins at the beach. Penguins can't go to the beach. And I said, look at what global warming has done. Look at these penguins' habitat. I thought it was so funny. And they were like, so let's talk about environmental concerns there. So they found a plastic bag in the Mariana Trench at 36,000 feet. That's almost as deep as the deepest point. A single plastic bag. Isn't that crazy? Is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard in your entire life? This bag was identified through the Deep Sea Debris Database, which contains thousands of images and videos collected from over 5,000 dives conducted over the past 30 years. Send Katy Perry to get it. Unlike general marine litter, this plastic bag was clearly visible in the deep sea footage, lying on the ocean floor in one of the most remote and inaccessible parts of the planet. Its presence highlights the astonishing reach of human pollution, showing that even in the deepest, darkest corners of Earth are not untouched. What makes this especially significant is that the bag is a single-use item designed to be discarded immediately after use, yet it has traveled possibly thousands of miles and survived under immense pressure, remaining intact. It serves as a sobering symbol of how durable and far-reaching plastic pollution can be, and how the human impact extends to even the most extreme and fragile ecosystems. It is Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, you guys. Whose logo was on that damn bag? Hold on, before we get to this beer bottle that they found, I want to see if I can find a picture of the bag. Bag found. Plastic bag found in Mariana Trench. I don't think they have a photo of it. Let me see. Oh, I found it. Oh, it doesn't have a logo on it. I don't know if this is the actual photo of it, but this is what's on an article. And there's a couple photos like this from different angles. See? And then here's a different photo that I found. There's a couple, but they're all like, you can't really tell. It's not like what we said, like a Forever 21 bag. But yeah. Yikes. So, let's watch the video about the beer bottle.
It's obviously something. I don't know, we're going to find out real soon.
Oh, it looks like a lightsaber.
It's a bottle. It's a freaking bottle.
Isn't that something?
It's a bottle.
As soon as we get here.
Look,
That's
it's a
crazy that it's
freaking
not
bottle.
broken. That is insane. I want to watch it again.
It's obviously something. I don't know, we're going to find out real soon.
Oh, it looks like a lightsaber.
It's a bottle. It's a freaking bottle.
Isn't that something?
It's a bottle.
He's so mad. He's so mad. He is so mad. And I don't know what beer that is, but it's a green container. So, carbon sinks. An international team of scientists used a specifically equipped lander with pressure-resistant titanium sensors to study carbon behavior at the bottom of the deep sea trenches. The lander was launched from a ship, and it took 3 hours to free fall to the seafloor, where it performed pre-programmed experiments. So there's no person on there. Heineken looks like Yingling. I think it's a Heineken. How did it not break? Does Stella Artois line their glasses with titanium? Yeah, well, okay, I think it is a Stella. I don't know. Not to blame the beer company, but like, you're not blameless. It's not 100% your fault, but it's not 0% your fault either. Preliminary results showed that the trenches act as sediment traps, collecting more organic matter than flatter ocean areas. That makes sense. Stuff falls to the deepest point. It also revealed higher bacterial activity, meaning that more carbon is processed and stored than expected. This suggests deep sea trenches are unrecognized carbon sinks, possibly playing a larger role in regulating atmospheric carbon dioxide. So basically what they're saying, I think, is that there is bacteria in the trench that processes carbon dioxide in much higher quantities than we realized. So the fucking trench is more important to the ecosystem than they realized. It didn't break because it was open. Stress engineer here. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Wow, are we kind of dumb? Anyway, but also, couldn't it have broken if it hit a rock on the way down? Or no? I guess because it's the ocean, it's slow. Huh. Water's so interesting. The next step is to measure how much more carbon storage and bacterial turnover occurs in the trenches compared to other ocean zones. These findings could reshape our understanding of the global carbon cycle and how the deep ocean affects climate. Previous discoveries, such as filming deep sea fish at 7.7 kilometers and finding large populations of amphipods, also support the idea that the trenches are more biologically rich and active than once believed. Mining. What do you mean? Are they mining down there? The Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, is increasingly impacted by human activities. Also, we're almost done and we're going to play the game in a few minutes. I think there's like 4 or 5 more slides. Are increasingly impacted by human activities despite its remoteness. Similar to other deep sea regions such as the Clarion-Clipperton Fracture Zone, the trench is being considered for deep sea mining due to the presence of metal-rich nodules and hydrothermal vent systems. These areas contain high concentrations of economically valuable elements like magnesium, cobalt, and nickel, which are used in electronics, renewable energy technologies, and industrial applications. We don't need to go down there and mine. We don't. We literally don't. Like, why? Mining these materials would require the use of advanced machinery such as deep sea dredgers or vacuum systems operating at depths exceeding 10,000 meters. However, such activities pose significant ecological risk. Didn't George W. Bush literally protect this? This is the one thing he protected. We can't take that from him. Disturbance from the mining operations could result in irreversible biodiversity loss due to the destruction of fragile habitats. This is so unnecessary and economically valuable. Made me mad too. Drilling on tectonic plates. That is another great point. This is already a spot with a lot of pressure and a lot of volcanic activity. I don't think we're smart enough to be drilling there. I'll say that. Pollution also threatens this. Studies have found persistent organic pollutants, including PCPs and flame retardants, and organisms collected from the trench. These chemicals originate from surface-level industrial activity and demonstrate the extent to which human-generated pollutants can penetrate the ocean's deepest layers. Overfishing is an additional concern. Deep-sea fish species common in trench adjacent regions, that's hard to say, such as the orange roughy, have slow growth rates and low reproductive output. That's kind of like, don't read them like that. Yeah. What do you mean? Oh, they have slow growth rates and low reproductive output. You can say it nicer. They age slowly and they're in control of their own bodies? Is that what you mean? I just don't like that they shaded the deep sea fish. Like, they live down there and we can't, so put some fucking respect on their name. Me too, so what? Now what? They're not fucking. They're busy. Current harvesting levels in some areas exceed sustainable limits, leading to the population declines that may not be recoverable. So because the fish aren't fucking, we're going to victim blame them. We're going to be like, these fish can't handle it when we kill thousands of them. They're the problem. They're the losers. So, current research, what's going on down there? Recent scientific research has revealed that biodiversity in the deepest parts of the ocean is far more extensive than we previously believed, because our dumbasses thought, well, if we can't live there, no one can live there. A study published in Cell on March 6 presented results from a project, and it was a collaboration among several Chinese institutions. Despite extreme conditions, they discovered over 7,500 species-level microbial genomes, with nearly 90% of them previously undocumented. The Chinese got to work down there, damn. These findings challenge existing assumptions about the limits of deep sea life and highlight the zone's rich and unique biological diversity. This is actually really cool. This is very interesting. I was really adamant that we include this. Bacteria found in the Mariana Trench have not specifically been identified as digesting metal, but some species have been discovered that they can break down plastics. A lot of people, there's a misconception that they can break down metal because those one animals use it in their skeleton, but that's aluminum and they're not breaking it down, they're using it. So I guess it's different. So let's dispel that myth. But they have found species that can break down plastics, including a bacteria called Rhodococcus rubber and Idenylus sarconathos. So these bacteria can digest plastic by forming a biofilm on it and breaking it down into CO and other molecules. Additionally, researchers have genetically engineered bacteria to break down PET in salt water, according to the National Science Foundation. So it's really, really easy for me to get like caught up in climate change, because it's worth getting caught up in, and it's really easy for me to be so like doom about it and be like, we're all gonna die and no one's doing anything about it. But there's a lot of scientists doing great work, and the thing that gives me hope is that like humans are so unique in like our intelligence and our scientific abilities and our ability to use technology, that like I just try and have faith that we'll figure something out. I like don't have a ton, but stuff like this gives me hope that there's researchers working on stuff like this and finding bacteria that can break down plastics. Obviously, step one is we lower our consumption, but like all the plastic on the earth, we have to deal with it. So even if we stopped producing plastic today was the last day plastic was produced, this is still a problem we have to deal with, you know? Humans are so unique, but humans are so unique. Yeah, positive and derogatory. So I hope you enjoyed this. Next week, we will be having a Wednesday stream, because I have a family event that I'm going to on Tuesday. So if you cannot make that, my deepest apologies. It will be on YouTube. This one will be on YouTube as well. But we are going to be looking at dating advice. I'm happy to give advice if you want it, but I mainly just want to read other people's advice and react to it and see if I think it is good or bad. So I'm very excited about that. Some of the advice will be like recent current books that people are writing and people are talking about things and whatever. And then some of it will be old. So we're going to read dating advice from like the 20s to present day. So on that note, let's play our little frickin' game. This was a very fun stream. I really liked this topic. Here is the link. Next week's stream is on Wednesday. Attention, everyone. Next week's stream is on Wednesday. This is the one I'm streaming you at work for on the TV. They're going to think I'm nuts. Awesome. So there is your little link to join the Nearpod. I can adjust this a little bit. And let you pick your little characters. Highly recommend people read Not the End of the World by Hannah Ritchie. It's realistic and encouraging on climate issues. I think we simply have to do the underwater one. There's just not a choice. Yeah, what was I about to say about climate change? One thing that I took AP Environmental Science in high school and I like loved it. I learned so much of that class and it really informed my worldview. And one thing that teacher told me that did make me feel a lot better is she said like, we have we treat the environment better now in a lot of ways than we used to 50 years ago. So she gave the example of the, what's it called, like the Cuyahoga River fire, where rivers would literally just catch on fire on a regular basis. And now we do have some regulations around like waste and chemical and things like that. So it just kind of makes me feel good to know, like, it's easy to just see it getting worse and worse and worse, but there are small tangible ways where things are getting better because we know more. So part of the reason it's getting worse is because we're learning more. And I think that, like, I really do hope that like science is going to figure this out, because especially in the last 10 years, because like 10 years ago is when I kind of started learning about this. In the last 10 years, we have come up with so many incredible plastic replacements from like bamboo and things like that, that there really, to me, is just no reason for us to still be using plastic the way we do. I know that in some cases, why is no one a penguin? I will fight all. I know that in some cases, plastic use is unavoidable, especially in the medical field. Certain things, plastic is what is used for sanitary reasons. But, and for like consumer goods and things like that, I just don't think it's necessary. And I think that expecting people to change their behavior will never work. It just will never work. People are used to living the way that they live. People are used to the convenience. We cannot expect people to change their behavior. We just have to create conditions for people to have more accessible options that are less damaging to the environment. You cannot expect Americans or anyone to stop using single-use plastic. It's baked into our culture. It is baked into our norms. It is baked into people's routines. Like, it's just unavoidable in my opinion, and I think that telling people to stop just makes them feel guilty, and then when they feel guilty, they're like, well, I don't want to do anything because I'm not doing it perfect. So I think it's really just about like structural change. I'm Mariana Trench Wilson. All right, I'll give people a couple more moments to join. There's 14 of you, that's fun. I'm really excited for the school year to end so that I can focus more on this stream and really just like ascend us to the sky. I really love that for us. And I need to wash my hair. I have like oil or shampoo or something on my head and it does not feel good. And I also, whenever I'm anxious, I scratch my head a lot, which also makes it worse. Do any of you watch Vanderpump Rules? I don't think so. I'm rewatching it right now and it's very illuminating. I really want a milkshake. And I kind of want to go get one, but I really don't need to do that. But I could. I love that show so much. I'm glad. I'm rewatching it right now. I'm on season 4. Okay. Breaking news. Do you guys remember my stream of Brittany Bateman from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? She is singing on Instagram Live while on oxygen. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I say I'm the number one guy in the group all the time. Not to be insensitive, but why? Hold on. I think I know what song I want to play in the game, but it's going to make this get clipped from YouTube, so sorry. All right. I'm trying to find this song. I don't know if this is the right one. I'm gonna find it. Okay. I'm so stupid, but it really sounds like they're saying Mariana. They're not saying Mariana, but that's what it sounds like to me. So I'm gonna play this song and we'll play the game. Let me mute the game. Where is the Mariana Trench located? Is this the right song? Okay. Approximately how deep is the Challenger deep? This whole time I thought they were saying Mariana. Like, Mariana. It's a good song. Is this a religious song? I assume so. Is this like a church song? I'm having the time of my life right now. You might not be, but I am. Who were the two people on the Tristy in 1960? The Triste. I'm not European. I don't know. I'm an American. This is a good song. Oh, I love streaming. I feel like no matter what is happening in my life, I can just like come on here and I 100% focus on this, which is really rare for me to be focused on anything. No, it's like blasphemous. That's how not religious I am, is I literally can't tell. Very That's how I feel about attending your stream. Featuring the literal drilling in the garage beneath me. I'm gonna start the song over at that one part that's really good. Imagine if they did find diamonds, though. Again, I'm glad you can't hear the drilling, because I can feel it, but I can't hear it that much. Ooh, a real estate fraud scheme? One stream that I'm doing is about like charity scams. How like companies scam you into rounding up and how a lot of charities don't actually do anything with the money. It'll be a good one. So Mary was Jesus's mom and she cried and kneel. Oh, I see. Okay, I get it. Still a great song. Sorry, Jesus. Did you see the Pope died? My class got mad because I told them the Pope died, and they're like, the Pope died, and I slammed my fist on the table. I would do it, but I don't want to break anything, and I go, he was just a kid. And they got so angry. They were like, please stop. Please stop. And then one kid goes, how did he die? And another kid goes, he was 88. And the other kid goes, you can be murdered at 88. And I was like, you can be murdered at 88. That is true. I found out via an American Girl Doll Instagram account. Incredible. Content warning, religious themes. What a perfect song, and it took us right till the end. You only have a couple seconds left to answer. Rolex. Alrighty. Let's see how we're doing. In first place, Ocean Rolex parking lot, Mariana Trench submarine parking lot, iPhone storage, a Deep AF parking lot, a Wawa Hoagie line, Mariana Trenchvilson, Bean Kai, Muff Mo. Yeah. Saturn Cat Casserole, a Dutch Bros parking lot. I will scroll through the rest. Nice job. Nice job. Any memes? Anything else to add? Any extra facts? I really liked this topic. This was a cool stream. I really, really enjoyed myself. I found out via the comments on Trisha Paytas's Instagram pregnancy. Oh, God. Nice job, a Walmart cart corral. I love that username. I really want to go see like what's happening in my house right now, because when I started, no one was here. And now there's multiple people working, and also it's 9 p.m. Interesting. What's up, nerds? It's Mr. coming at you live from the Mariana Trench. Basically, it's deep as fuck. Hilarious. I'm gonna put that on Instagram. What is your @ on Instagram so I can tag you in that? Or just comment and be like, it's me, and I'll tag you. Those are our cats. Oh, they're your cats. Anyone, it's not that deep. Me. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. I'm absolutely exploiting y'all's memes on Instagram. So if you see that I posted one of yours, all of you, it's all of yours, a deep AF parking lot, I'm exploiting your memes on Instagram. They're very, very funny. And just comment and I'll tag you. Oh, Lemur Banana, it's you. Okay. What's your @ name, Lemur Banana? 5th place, and it's the first time I caught this live. I hope you enjoyed showing up live. I think the live experience is just all that. But for my YouTubers, I appreciate you. Sorry I neglected you last week. Just kind of didn't want that on the internet, TBH. It's still there though, so it'll be there for a couple more days, and then I'm gonna take it down. Actually, maybe I'll take it down today. Anyway, if you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't. Sorry. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. I will see you next Wednesday when we talk about dating advice. Yeah, live, laugh, and love, and I'll see you when I